it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. The pompous see this mockery and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
I'm confused always about what you guys are seeing and hearing and when you're seeing and hearing it, but I guess the delay is enough that whatever I'm seeing on my screen is not what you're seeing on your screen. Anyway, hi anyone who's out there listening or watching. Say hello and hey, what's up in the chat if you're there. I suddenly lost my mouse. It doesn't work. Hold on a second. There we go, it's back. I wanted to start going live more often, and I don't know, I'm committed to doing Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time and doing a stream of some kind, whether it's a rerun like I did last night or a new episode like I'm going to do this Sunday with a couple friends. We're going to do a panel discussion about the sun and all the crazy esoteric and exoteric and just interesting things about the sun in our world. That should be a pretty cool episode for the solstice, which, depending on how you look at it, is tomorrow officially. And then a lot of people go by the amount of daylight now that Crow and some other people have popularized that idea. And so if you go by that, I think it's today for some people, and maybe the next day and within a few days of now, just depending on where you're at. If it's equal day and night that you're going by, then that's going to be up to you which day it is, but otherwise it's tomorrow. And so on the first day after that is sort of the sun is in like a stationary place, right? Like it's not going to move on the visibly to us for 3 days. So it's in its sort of death stasis, but it's still the beginning of the sun's return to us as we get more and more sunlight and throughout the year until the spring when we've got our full return of the sun. The days will start being longer than the nights. So that is exciting to be at this point of the year. So happy solstice to all of you. And come check out that sun episode on Sunday at 6 Mountain Time, US, to hear us talk about that and chat with us. I know some people are watching. They're just not chatting. So, and my mouse keeps not working now of all times. Anyway, I was going to come in here today and talk about ego, because it's been on my mind a bit. And I guess, so when I'm talking about ego, I'm talking about more like pride and vanity, and even pride and vanity aren't negative. So I think we can get caught up in like the words and the definitions, but I think that there's still characteristics and qualities that we can know and we can experience and we can judge and discern about and we can be intentional about. And so I think that's important to do. So my friend James True, awesome guy, super genius, amazing writer. He's also going to come back on the show in a couple weeks. We're going to do it on, I think, the 5th. He's going to come back on Rogue, so check back in then. Anyways, James has this idea about ego that it's actually a positive thing, and that all these traditions sort of look down on ego and say that you should get rid of your ego and talk about ego death as something that you want to try to attain. And he says it's actually a good thing. And I'm sorry, James, if I'm misrepresenting you, but this is what I understand that he's saying, that you should have some ego and you should have some pride in yourself. The system that we all face and that we're a part of and that raised us seems hell-bent on destroying our egos and destroying our belief in ourselves and, making us feel like we're worthless. And in fact, the opposite is true. And so I totally agree with him in that way, that you should have some healthy ego. You should learn to believe in yourself. We have a sort of natural set of rights here as human beings on this plane. And we have a natural inherent worth that we should value and that other people should automatically recognize just by the fact that we're here and we're alive. We should feel sovereign and comfortable in our own skin, especially in that we should be able to make boundaries based on that. We should say, this is what I am worth, and therefore I won't accept less from you, whoever you is, whether it's our family, our friends, our lovers, or our government. So those are all things that I can get behind and say, yes, we definitely should have more ego in that. And that's awesome. I still don't even know if anyone can hear me because no one's saying what's up. But anyway, so if you can hear me, that form of ego and pride is positive. I think we should all learn to cultivate it directly in the face of this sort of onslaught of messaging that we get from our system that tells us to feel worthless and helpless and less than. But there's something in ego, and I think it has to do with like asking other people to, I don't even know how I want to say it, like justify or verify or validate us, that starts to get to the negative side of ego. And hey, what's up, Brett? Thank you. Can you hear me? I'm assuming you can. I think that's where we start to get into dangerous territory with the ego. And this is my own struggle, at least. So if nothing else, I'm just talking about myself. But when we look out at people and thank you for verifying that you can hear me and it sounds fine. When we look out at people and we're kind of like, hey, look at me, look what I can do. Look at how cool I am. Look at what I did. And even then it's like, there's not necessarily anything inherently wrong with that, but we start to get into dangerous territory because we start to do things like become jealous of people who are getting more attention than us or more validation than us. Or thank you, Mark, for letting me know that you can hear me on YouTube as well. Now it's just Facebook. I wonder if everybody's fine. Probably, though. If we need other people to validate us and to tell us that we're doing well and to give us attention for the things that we want to feel good about ourselves for, it's dangerous in many ways. And one of the main ways it's dangerous is, what if that person doesn't give you that validation? Are you going to feel less than at that point? Are you going to feel like you didn't do good enough? I do. And this is why I think it's dangerous. And this is also, if you are ever going to go to therapy, they'll, I think, reinforce this idea. And this is where I kind of learned this flaw that I have was actually in therapy. And I always support everyone to go to actual therapy. I think it's good for you. I think we're all a bunch of kids walking around pretending to be adults, and when we go to therapy, we start to grow up. But anyway, my problem is that I want other people to tell me that I'm doing well. I used to spend a lot of my time seeking validation from people who I saw as an authority. Sometimes that authority was as simple as like a friend who I looked up to because they had accomplished something that I hadn't yet. But sometimes it was, like a boss or something. And dangerously, especially when I was younger, it was men who I was seeking love from, right? That's bad. It's not good. If there's people who see someone like me at that time seeking validation and they see that, it's a definite vulnerability. And then people who are not well also, but in different ways, seek to then exploit that about you. So this is a danger of that aspect of ego when you're seeking validation from other people. But it also just hurts. Right? If you're looking at someone and you're like, look at me, look what I can do. I'm so cool, right? Tell me that I'm cool. And they don't, that hurts your feelings. So it's not easily done to not do that, but it is best if you can get to the point where you're at least recognizing when you're doing that, right? And we all do it. And I'm not trying to talk down to anybody or tell you that you're not doing well enough. Ironically, I want to tell you that you are doing well enough wherever you're at with this issue. It's a complicated issue, again, and I'm mostly talking from my own experience, but caring a lot about what others think about you is going to be destructive no matter what form it takes. So there's also this like very productive aspect of wondering what others think about you. You know, when I write my novel, for example, I do want other people to read it and give me feedback on it. But it's not necessarily because I want them to tell me that I am a good writer, or like, you know, these types of things. It's more that I want to say, like, is this effective? Is it accomplishing the goal that I want it to accomplish? When I say or do this to you, is that affecting you in this way? You definitely, you know, want to know how you affect other people. Interesting. I think I'm going live. Oh, never mind. On a different channel. Hi, Vegan Bear. Where was I? Well, I totally lost my train of thought. It is destructive to seek that type of validation from other people and to expect them to validate our worth. So how are you going to not do this? One is you're going to recognize in the moment itself when you're doing it, because we're all doing it still. I'm positive of that. There's none of us who have kind of like achieved enlightenment or whatever, and, you know, like moved completely past this stage of destructive ego seeking behaviors. So in the moment itself, if you can stop and be like, oh, I'm doing that thing where I'm asking other people to tell me that I'm really cool or whatever, then that's the first step, you know, and in that moment you can just like recognize, like, what is this? Like, why am I doing this specific ego seeking behavior in this specific moment? Because it's almost always attached to some previous need that you had, a valid need, that was not fulfilled for some reason. And this is kind of like the point, is it's never, ever going to be possible for someone else to fill that need anyway. So you're going to seek these ego, you know, reinforcing sort of things from other people, which makes you vulnerable and open to attack. And it also is never, ever going to fill that need that you have, ever. It can't. It's not even possible, because that need exists within you and you can't get it from another person, right? You literally cannot. So in that moment, you have to see that you're doing it, and you have to follow that thread back to like the sort of source of it, you know? Just Jesus. That's all a American woman says. But there's always going to be a source from where it came from. And if you confront it in the moment often enough, it's going to become clear to you what that source is and was. And you can't go back in time and change whatever that source was, you know? So like maybe for some people it's that their like mom didn't show up to their, you know, recital at some point or something, you know, and like that hurt you. And so from then on, you're like, every time you do something public, you're like seeking validation from everyone or whatever. So like then you can figure out what that was and go back to that moment. And literally, you're the only person who can do this for you. And it is something that you want to do to improve your ability to feel good about who you are and to stop destructive behaviors. So you go back. Oh, thank you, Labusco. Fuck you too. Go back to that time and give yourself whatever it was you needed. You're the one who can do it. You know, you can fill that need that you had that was not fulfilled. And this is part of what becoming an adult is like, because otherwise you run around like a fucking mad person, like requesting energy from all of these people all the time, requesting validation from people all the time. And it's like vampiric. I mean, you're like literally are like an energy vampire when you act like this, and it doesn't feed you. Just like the vampires in the stories, like you're still dead. You're still walking around empty. You know, it doesn't, and then it sucks from other people too. All right. They can't fulfill it anyway, but it does like affect them in negative ways as well. So it's important for everybody to think about this question, and whether I'm right or wrong, you know, you might have your own definitions of ego. You might have your aspects of ego that are positive. And I agree, there are some positive aspects of ego that you do want, you know, you do want to feel proud of yourself when you do something effective and good. But again, it comes from you, you know, you're the person who can make you feel good about yourself. Truly. That's the only lasting source of, oh, don't be sorry. You can tell me fuck you anytime you want. I just see it as a reflection of you, even if you were serious, Lubowsko. And it's fun. It's fun to swear and tell people to fuck off sometimes. That's its own ego in a way. And this is the thing I'm going to remind you guys as many times as I bring this up, that I'm an egotistical person, and I seek these things from other people in destructive ways too. Like nobody's perfect, obviously, but my goal is to be less and less egotistical, especially in the ways that come out as jealousy, or that come out as really seeking something from other people in a way that would make me vulnerable to manipulations and attack. Question from Vegan Bear: where's the separation between ego and confidence? Exactly. Yes, exactly. So this is why I think the word itself it's like semantics. You get caught up in it. So it's excellent to have confidence. It's excellent to know that you are a worthy, beautiful human who's doing good things despite your fuck ups, and that's a positive thing. You should value yourself and you should honor yourself for all the things that you're doing well and better than you've done before and the progress you're making. Like, that's a beautiful side of ego. That confidence is a good word for it. So this side that I'm talking about that's negative is more of the side of you that seeks to fill an emptiness. Lebowski's cracking me up. An emptiness inside of you that you haven't given yourself that confidence, and so you're seeking it from other people, right? This sort of lack that you have that really literally only you can fulfill. So that's the difference I want to clarify between, and that is the ego that I'm talking about destroying, this side of you that's sort of empty, vampiric, soul-sucking bullshit that it causes so much damage. I just have been dealing a lot with people who seem to want to, I don't know, even, I guess, like, take credit for what I've done in my own life, or make me feel like I like need them or something, or I don't know, some things like that. And then also some things where people seem to sort of be wanting to almost like attack and destroy because they're jealous. So, and I see myself doing similar behaviors, and that's part of what like prompted this, is that this is a problem I think everybody faces, both from themselves towards others, and also from others towards themselves at some level or another. So it's important to think about where you're doing this to other people, especially if other people are doing it to you in a way that bothers you, right? Because it's usually a reflection, which is another aspect of all of this, right? That I always come back to, which is that nobody, literally almost nobody ever is going to see you and see you. And it's weird to think about, but it's true. People look at me and they see all kinds of things, and so many of them are inaccurate and uninformed and has nothing to do with me at all. But even the people who are like pretty close to me look at me and see some shit that isn't very accurate, but that's what they see. It's always a reflection of them. It's almost 100% of people, almost 100% of the time, are seeing some reflection of them when they look at you. Some people say it's literally 100% of people 100% of the time see themselves when they look at you. I like to think that there are brief moments, at least, where some people really do see your actual soul essence. I agree that it's very, very rare. And so we're all walking around as like mirrors to each other. And I think that's not just this sort of like woo-woo bullshit sort of fucking thing, but like that it's actually realistic. I think when you look out at the world, you see yourself. So that's why I'm like seeing this ego coming at me from other people, and I'm like realizing like this is me too, because I'm actually, seeing myself. Right? I am a strong Black woman. Thank you for recognizing me. Finally, someone sees me. Lloyd Tucker Carlson Bear. It's interesting too, we could connect this all back to the like whole identity movement and like forcing people to sort of acknowledge your identity. It's like so fucking egocentric. It's so egotistical to assume that the world needs to bend to your will and your conception of yourself when literally no one can see you anyway. So, but yeah, like I have people, especially who are very, very shocked when they're like find out that I, had a very colorful past and some, I don't even want to say drug addiction problems, because I don't see drug addiction the same as I used to. But a lot of drugs were had and done in very destructive ways, and people are like shocked. They're like, you? No, you? Oh my goodness. Or like when I swear, people will have a problem with it, and I just remind myself, like, this is them projecting onto me this image that they have, which isn't real. It's not realistic. It has nothing to do with reality. And so they expect this, like, lily white, whatever. And then they get this instead. So the point of all of that is that people really don't see you, and you don't really see other people for the most part. And so when you're seeing something you don't like I'm seeing this sort of egotistical bullshit coming at me from many angles, then you have to ask yourself, like, where is this in me as well, that I'm seeing this in the world? And then, like, root it out if you don't like it, you know? And the first step in that is recognizing, like, what it even is. And so that was part of what prompted me to do this discussion tonight, is to just figure out, like, what do we mean when we talk about ego? What do we mean when we talk about, excuse me, getting rid of ego, or ego death? And so I wanted to get there because, again, you should love yourself. I think you should recognize all the beautiful things about you and acknowledge that and be confident about it and feel good about it and, like, spew that shit all over the place. But there are some destructive aspects too that you want to watch out for. So when we're asking to be seen, you know, by other people and validated by other people, that's when we should question whether what we're doing is going to be productive for us or not. But when it's from an internal place, when we're asking ourselves to recognize our self-worth, then that's when it is a productive and positive thing. So that's where I'm at. I want to cultivate more of that in myself, of an internal feeling of solidity, and you guys are cracking me up, and self-worth, and kind of let go of the more vampiric, sort of self-serving, like outward-facing ego bullshit. I like my coffee like I like my women. Black and full of liquor. Yeah, so I might be black, but I'm definitely not ever going to be full of liquor. So you don't like me, and that's okay with me, because I like myself. I'm just fucking with you. Hi, Sue. Nice to see you. That made me just think of something else, too. So I have been free from alcohol for, Jesus, I think it's like a year and a half. Black and bitter. There we go. I can do that. I can do bitter. There's a lot I'm bitter about in the whole world. A lot. But I quit drinking, and that was actually this huge ego death. It's a very strange, like, it's a fucking thing. Like, I really think that drinking, I'm so sorry if this sounds judgmental. I don't give a shit who drinks. People drink around me all the time. I think it's fine. You should do whatever you want. But for me, I realized that drinking itself was this, like, ego trip. Like, I almost think the only reason I ever enjoyed drinking was so that I could, like, get trashed enough to just, like, spew ego all over the place. Cause, like, I get, like, brash and fucking loud and, like, super full of myself. I think I'm amazing. I'll fight anybody for any reason, like, physically or verbally or however they want it. I get crazy egotistical when I drink, and I tend to look around and see that pretty much everyone does, but maybe in, like, a less visible or sudden way than I was myself. But what's up, Kevin? Thanks again for the super chats. Super, super sweet of you. By the way, I'm going to be able to do my show this Sunday, the Sun episode, because of people like Kevin who have donated some super chats on YouTube, and I got enough money to pay for Zoom and be able to do that whole live stream for as long as we want to, with as many people as we want to, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you very much to people who are supporting me economically. I appreciate it so much. And if you are somebody who has found some value in Rogue Ways over the years and you want to donate, actually the best way, even better than Super Chats, is to go to paypal.me/Corey Sharman. Corey Sharman is spelled QUORRISCHARMYN. And that is the best way to give me money, because no one takes a cut from that money. That goes just directly to me, and I appreciate it very, very much. Although super chats are great, and thank you, Kevin, and the others who gave super chats the other night. Very, very much appreciated. So actually, while I've got the book out, you can win this book, Sine Curve of Aeons, that I wrote myself. This novel, it's a beautiful novel. It's got amazing spiritual truths and fun It's an awesome story. It's sort of alternate history meets sci-fi meets fantasy. It's fucking rad. So you can win that by commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing the channel anywhere on any social media, doing any of those things and screenshotting it and sending it to CoreySharman@gmail.com. Again, Corey Sharman, QUORISCHARMYN. And you can also win, while we're at it, this lovely painting by Nick Klein. This is donated as a gift so that we could do this on Rogueways. So if you're into this painting, that's another thing you can win. All of the same ways to subscribe, to apply, to enter to win, apply to this painting as well. So when you email me to enter that drawing for either of those items, just let me know which one you would like to be submitted to win. And I'll put you in that hat. The drawing, oh my God, it's tomorrow. Wow, you guys, time flies way too fast. Tomorrow I'm doing the book. So whoever has submitted by tomorrow to win the book, tomorrow's the day that you'll find out who wins. The painting is going to still have another week because it's not been as long. And so on the 1st of January is when that will be drawn. Like losing my words here. Hey, Gordon, what's up? And hello, love the truth bear. I love the truth as well. I'm glad you're here. So that was a tangent I got off on, and I don't remember where I had started before that. This is why I need like a moderator. Oh, Kevin says, you inspired me to create a happy cow based raw vegan traveling vlog when I become a flight attendant. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. That makes me really happy. I have this thing where like some people, I don't know, it goes back to the ego thing. Some people are like jealous or angry that like I have a show and they don't. And I'm like, dude, just make a show then. Like, what's the point of being jealous or ego driven about that? And the more shows, the merrier. The more that, like, somebody might want to come listen to Rogue, but that doesn't mean they're not going to want to go watch a raw vegan traveling vlog. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody should do exactly what they want. The more people creating more shit, especially if it's coming from a place of, like, truth and honoring yourself and wanting to share that with other people, like, the better. There's nothing can be bad with that. Lloyd Tucker Carlson Bear says, can you tell us a little about what's coming up on Rogueways? Who are some of the greatest hits guests you'll be posting? Oh, wow. That's a great question. So I'm going to try to do a panel discussion like the one coming up on Sunday on The Sun every Sunday, if possible. If not that, then a live interview with a guest such as Jaron, who I'll be interviewing from Jaronism on the 2nd of January, and James True, which I'll be doing on the 5th. But as you can tell by those dates already, it's not always going to be on a Sunday. So Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays at 6 p.m. Mountain, I'm going to do one of those three things. Either interview someone one-on-one live, do a panel discussion live about some really cool topic, or play a hit from the past Rogue episodes, because there's a lot of new subscribers lately that have not seen a lot of the fantastic episodes that I have. So I just did my first rerun episode yesterday, The Greatest Hits, and that was my first interview with Crow 777, which was a long ass time ago. I guess it was only a year ago. I don't think YouTube gives you months though, so I actually think it was like a year and a half ago. But anyway, so I did my first episode with Crow as my first rerun because I really, really liked that episode. If you know and love Crow and you have listened to a lot of his work or seen the movie Shoot the Moon, like I have, this episode's still rad because there's a lot of stuff that he goes into that you don't necessarily get on other shows. So that is the episode that I did. I really want to do some reruns of some of the Illuminati Bloodlines episodes because the research that went into those was pretty astounding. We did so far the Astors, the DuPonts, the Bundy Collinses. I know we did more than that, but I don't know where. And we're not even done. We're still going with the Illuminati Bloodlines episodes. We just have had a long break in between them. I definitely want to redo the mind control episode. That one was really good. The psychedelics and entheogens episode. I want to redo the mud flood episode. Man, there's so many good ones. It's super hard to choose. So I'll be going through some of those. Water is Weird is I almost did Water is Weird yesterday. That was a really fun episode, the Water is Weird episode. So I'm going to be redoing that. The AI one. AI is a subject near and dear to my heart, as anybody who knows me knows. For many, many years now, I've been screaming about the dangers of AI and my theories about that. So that was a fun episode for me to vent about. Ooh, the Metatron episode was hella cool. That'll definitely be on a replay sooner or later. I don't think I'll replay the road trip episodes, although that's what Rogue Cow was saying. Was that you, Rogue Cow? Now there's a lot of chats, so Oh no, Kevin. That was what inspired Kevin to start his vlog, was those road trip episodes. Those are pretty cool. If you are interested in seeing the entirety of the United States so far in the 2 trips I've done, then you could go revisit some of the road trip episodes, but I don't think I'll do those on a replay. Anyway, that's a bit about what is upcoming. I'm just trying to look at your guys' comments because I want to see if there's anything else I can tell you about. I love this point. Gordon Hamill, thank you for saying that. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to just read this comment from YouTube. Gordon says, ego. It took me a while to post about my weight loss because how do you tell surface relationships about that it was due to self-realization of my own bullshit, not because of some stupid fad diet? Right? That's it. And even your reason for posting it, Gordon, I'm assuming, is not so that other people will be like, wow, you're so amazing. Look at how good you look. But more so people can see like, oh, this is a really healthy choice that you could make too, or that I could make too, right? Like, this is someone saying like, look at me, I'm proud of myself. I did something good. Not, please tell me about my accomplishments and how amazing they are. But hey, look at how like good we can be when we choose to love ourselves, right? It's just the motivation behind it. And it's just like what you're searching for in it that is the key determination of like whether or not it's going to be something that is positive for you or negative for you, and for other people, honestly. It's funny because it's like, are you doing it to serve other people or are you doing it to serve yourself is another question you can ask. And serving yourself is not necessarily bad. So like, that's not the point. But usually in serving other people, you're going to get past some of the like bullshit, the bullshit ego part, you know, the vampiric ego sort of shit. But it is funny because there's people who are like, oh, I'm totally serving other people. Like, look at me and praise me for it. You know, there's this like love and light crew that are super ego driven, really self-centered, really shallow people. But like they have this like sort of sheen of like love and light, and, like serve people, and like here's my crystals, and it's like really, really vapid. So I just like watch out for those people a lot because I fucking love crystals. I do a bunch of the shit that people think is love and light, and for sure, like there's truth in almost any sort of vein that you can run down, but you just got to watch out for that. A lot of people just adopt the surface of something to get attention, basically, to be like kind of hipstery about it. Yeah, it was funny. Some people yesterday when I was doing the rerun of the Crow episode didn't realize it was a rerun. They thought it was live or that it had just happened recently, but it's an old one. And there's another time that Crow came on Rogue, and that was also in the past. But I do want to have Crow on again sometime, and I'll try to make it more clear, maybe in the title, if something's a greatest hit or if it's, you know, a live action happening right now sort of thing. Who are some of my one-on-one guests coming up? I was just saying that Jaren's going to be on the 2nd. James True is going to be on the 5th. And I have some other people who are in the works, so I don't want to say yet because they haven't agreed yet, but I'm super excited if it happens. We'll see who else. Like I said, I might have Crow. I want to have Crow back on again. I don't want to like just do repeat guests that I've already had, but I also, again, realize that there's people who are kind of new to the show and that there's new content that we can cover. So I do want to have Freeman fly on again. That's one of my favorite episodes. Yeah, people like that. Narcissism does run deep in organized religion. Dude, narcissism runs deep in our entire society. We're like built on narcissism. It's fucking insane. I think like narcissism and psychopathy have like this very narrow line of distinction between them. And that this is like the underpinnings of our external reality right now. This is terrifying. It's terrifying, especially because they have the least ability to break through all of this bullshit. People who have personality disorder and narcissism and psychopathy have almost zero chance of like recovering from that. Like it's not something that goes away no matter how much therapy and introspection they do. Allegedly, could be wrong. I would love to be proven wrong. I mean, I would love to know that that's actually just a lie we're being told if it is, but it seems that way, you know, whereas the rest of us have like a really good chance if we're like doing this self-work and we're paying attention, and we're looking for the times where we kind of like come up against this sort of external validation need or this external need that we're not fulfilling ourselves. We have a really good chance of like rooting that out and diminishing it. I'm proof. I used to be a fucking huge asshole and I'm pretty nice now. Crystals emit a frequency that your thoughts can tune into. It's true. Crystals actually trip me out. Like I thought they were just kind of woo-woo. And if you can do this yourself right now, if you have 2 quartz crystals and you hold them together, you can feel that field that they emit, like you can with magnets. You feel like you can find the places where they like draw each other into each other and like push against each other. It's a trip. Like you should go try it if you haven't. That shit's real. And we know that. That's actually in some Rogue episode somewhere as well. I like this point. Rogue Cow says it's important to take care of ourselves in these hyper-capitalist times. Even if you removed the word capitalist, if you're not someone who's anti-capitalist, in these hyper, let's just say, shallow times, or these hyper quick and materialist times, it is, especially if you're doing caregiving or something where you're serving other people, you really do need to take time. Go out to nature, stick your feet in the dirt and sit and just stare at the sky or the sun or the trees or whatever it is and refill yourself. Unless there's something else that refills you, but you really do have to take care of yourself or you just burn out and give up. And we don't want you to give up. We want you here with us. Social media does cultivate narcissism. KJs, I agree. It also doesn't have to, though. You can use social media to connect with others in meaningful ways. The Eyes Open group on Facebook that we started has been one example of that, where we have what I would say is a very strong community of people who are very genuine in their connections to one another. This painting by Nick Klein is actually a sort of, it's not a product of that, but me having this to give to you in the giveaway is a product of that. This, Nick painted this and a group member bought it and then the group member donated it to me. And it was just sort of this like cycle of like love. And there's people in there who like their real lives have been actually affected by the sort of community that we've built in there. And so social media can be used for good or for ill. If you use it unthinkingly, it's gonna turn you into a narcissist because that's its like job. But if you intend to use it in certain ways to reinforce certain behaviors and ideas about yourself, then it's just a tool and you can use it however you want. But yeah, it's designed to get you addicted to it and to get you thinking about very shallow, surface level bullshit and to act in very egotistical ways. It's true. It's true, but you can change that. You can do whatever you want. All right, guys, I think I'm done talking about ego. And I just want to say, I recognize the irony of going live and having a bunch of people stare at me and listen to me talk about my ideas about ego. I totally am not, that's not lost on me, but I hope that my intention is that this can be a time for all of us to reflect on our own behaviors and our own motivations and reflect on whether or not they're serving us or destroying us and ask ourselves if there's something that we can do differently in order to nurture the best aspects of ourselves and let go of the parts of ourselves that are not serving us or others. And so hopefully it has been that for you. And until I see you next time, I would love for you to travel well, to aim for balance, and to always look inside especially in matters of ego, first. Mwah.
It's a one-on-one lesson, so do your homework. Make your dome hurt while up on earth. My bones are blessed from holy dirt. Vibes manifested to words that told me search for verbs and adjectives to describe birth. Worth more than one can speak, while the tongue feeds a weak, a sour taste in your mouth, bittersweet. Words can also kill you when you sleep. Mind condition, low frequencies while the subconscious mind listens. I can tell a vision filled with lies, disguised as truth, and spread it like the word to the youth. Watch the tube. A place where the God gets booed is sorcery. To recreate the God forgery. The eye, not too many know. Just hear me flow like the eye of Horus Pinio. Yeah, not ready to leave until we believe we're free to go. You hear me, yo?
Sculpted from the ether, the material will eat ya. Stuck on this plane, lanes use jet fuel to greet ya. The dimensional three ain't meeting me on top of the fourth. Didn't climb Jacob's ladder to squab with a sword. Forged with Yggdrasil, branch down. Try quiet your lamps now. Ascension past the matter that they slam out they damn mouths. We ain't on land now, but they over understand. Sacrificing wisdom, hoarding dumber, kosher, wicked hands. Putting faith in worthless worship of the mortals. Artificial portals, mass ingestion of the black goo. Bioengineered morsels, conversing with machine elves. Bypassing maggots, they stuck on Android screens now. I'm scrolling emerald tablets. Moloch living lavish, off the backs of the savage. Them clasp hands at the Sabbath. Smack of energy damage, they done twisted the tongues. With nanotech in the lungs, the awakening's begun. All they really can do is fucking
run.